Hello, my name is Miles Newcomb, and this is our week 3 assignment, and I'm checking up on feasibility. The tech industry, characterized by a large number of competitors, rather than a few entrenched large companies. Um, while the industry is not already in demand, there's a demand for equality and guidance for black businesses to keep existing and to keep growing. I saw that from 2017 to 2018, black ownership of businesses, small businesses, have grown over 400%. So African Americans have to keep fighting to grow since the start of the United States. So positioning this website to do just that and portray to African Americans that they have to buy from each other to create a revenue for their economy. As for the second point, it's new, it's expanding, and it's growing significantly. I put a 10 because I touched on that 400%. And according to the U.S. Black Chamber of Commerce, Thomas stated in her article, which is in my references, African American businesses have grown at an exponential rate in the 21st century. 4 months in 2018 is already shaping up to be a banner year for African American entrepreneurship. Currently, there are nearly 2.6 African American owned businesses in the U.S., and now there are countless platforms, programs, initiatives, and conferences in place to support exponential growth. And I'm trying to bring that to Oklahoma because our tech hub, we actually don't have one. So bringing that in and trying to implement technology into these young African Americans to help build them up and be a part of that. As for the market here in Oklahoma City, um, still trekking to get to 100 customers. A few have validated that this would be interesting to them. 75% said that it would solve a problem and gave great feedback on what to implement for them as well. I put that out of 4 because I'm still trekking to get to 100 customers, and that data would fluctuate up or down, either way, to see if it is viable for the market. Um, it is clearly identifiable. People do know what it is. It's identified as two market segments: the mentees and the mentors. The mentees will be anyone in college or before college that wants to start a business, and the mentors will be the business owners that are on the website that want to help them guide these people to the next generation. And lastly, it has forecast for significant growth in the immediate future and has existing sales channels to sell to your customers, which this area needs a lot more attention due to the stagnant economy in Oklahoma City. Although this picture to the right shows that what I touched on the previous slide was a 400% increase, and it breaks down the ages of the age range, and then the college degree. It's not really required. It's about the execution. And lastly, what really motivates these African Americans to open a business? 62% said they wanted to pursue a passion, and positioning it in that way to give these young African Americans a uh, kind of catalyst to let them pursue their passion would help with the business all around in growing business and growing other businesses. On entrepreneur.com, Thomas states that there are a few places for competition that are growing throughout Atlanta and the U.S. So the Russell Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship is one, which is based in Atlanta. The ACT House, it helps prime young African Americans for entrepreneurship. And the venture capital firm Backstage Capital launched a $36 million fund at will to invest in African American women founders, 1 million at a time. And lastly, kind of in what I'm trying to do is the InvestU app is also doing a part to infuse African American ventures to um, keep it on an online platform and help mentor these kids in an online format. So competition does exist, although it's about position and building a base in Oklahoma and then expanding throughout there. As for the deep pockets, accelerators like Y Combinator and other few, just to name the biggest one, was the Y Combinator. Um, and there are other multiple black websites, black business websites. SupportBlackOwned.com, BlackEnterprise.com, BlackBusiness.org, BuyBlackMovement.com, and much more. Although, how I can compete in this realm is education of what the Green Book is and position it to sound better than the other websites, not really putting a black title on it. Supporting black businesses, it doesn't really have to have that title. How the market share is really widely distributed. It's very small just based on how many accelerators there are in the world currently. There's so much more to gain through the populations throughout the world. There's especially not one in Oklahoma that is focused on small businesses in the tech industry. As for website application, there are plenty of market share if you're able to create a movement and a community that's able to spread the word. As for operations, I really don't have a ready skilled source of labor. It's currently just myself, although finding people to spread the word would be relatively easy because having family members that are prevalent in the black community that have some 501(c)s already as a nonprofit would help people wanting to come and work with the Green Book and the movement. Um, it doesn't require purchase of the expensive inventories because my goal is to create a collaborative remote environment for everyone with bi-weekly meetups until the wheels start to turn for the company and drastically reducing the purchase of a lot of inventory in buildings. As for insurance, that's why I put it on here. I'm not sure as to what type of insurance that I need or what kind of liability that I need to be aware of. Diving into more research on this subject is very important. I've been cultivating my leadership abilities since as long as I can remember, although I haven't been able to apply the skills. I've tried to apply the skills, although along the lines of my credit history, I made some pretty bad decisions in college, but my credit history is steady building from bad undergraduate decisions. Um, I've tried to start an online company throughout my undergraduate degree, although I didn't have the skills or knowledge that I do now to be able to do so. Previous experience in this industry, um, I am an African American, so I've seen it firsthand. I've seen how I've been treated firsthand throughout my life. Although, other than that, the leadership experience, I really have none besides volunteering and mentoring young African Americans and talking to them about getting to college through basketball. Um, as for prior experience leading a team, I've led my basketball team in college throughout the last 4 years, and is the only really leadership that I have and try to portray it throughout my work environments, and I lead myself every day. Although learning leadership skills throughout college to the present day has helped me with how I think in terms of business and leadership.